So in the previous lecture, we have seen the three different properties of beta function. So let's quickly see what are these three properties. So first property is nothing but a symmetric nature of beta function, which says that beta of mn is same as beta of nm. Then the second property which we have for beta is that beta of mn is equal to 2 times integral 0 to pi by 2 of sine to the power 2m minus 1 theta into cos to the power 2n minus 1 theta. This is the second property. Then we have seen we have a third property which talks about that beta of mn is nothing but equal to integral 0 to infinity of x raised to power n minus 1 upon 1 plus x to the power m plus n, right? So these are the three properties of the beta function. Sometimes property number 2 and property number 3 are also considered as a transformation of a beta function. Okay, they are called as the transformation of a beta function. So today we shall see one more property of beta function. So that is property number 4. So it's somewhat related to the property number 3. So what we have to show here, that beta of mn is nothing but equal to integral 0 to 1 of x raised to power m minus 1 plus x raised to power n minus 1 upon 1 plus x raised to power m plus n, and integration is with respect to x. So let's see how we can prove this. So if you look at this, right, this result, so this is somewhat similar to the previous property with certain changes. What is the first change? That here limit is in 1 instead of infinity. That's the first change, and we have one more additional term. What is that? X raised to m minus 1. Okay, so we will try to prove this property with the help of the previous property. So let's see how to do this. So as we know that we have the third property, so that is beta of mn is equal to nothing but integral 0 to infinity of x to the power n minus 1 upon 1 plus x to the power m plus n. Let's call it as equation number 1. This is what we have now. As our aim is to obtain this one, so we want 0 to 1. So here the range is, what is the range? Complete range is, the complete range is from 0 to infinity. Okay, whereas the portion which we want is from 0 to 1 only. Okay, so according to the property of integral, what we will do, we will write this as integral 0 to infinity as, we will break it into two parts. So first part will be 0 to 1, okay, and the second part will be from 1 to infinity. So we have integral from 1 to infinity, and integrand remains same, that is x to the power n minus 1 upon 1 plus x raised to power m plus n, and here also x raised to power n minus 1 upon 1 plus x raised to power m plus n. Integration is with respect to x. So if you see this, this is nothing but a required part, one of the required part. X integral is from 0 to 1, right? X to the power n minus 1 upon 1 plus x raised to power m plus n. So what is left to prove is that the remaining part in the integral must be x to the power m minus 1 upon 1 plus x raised to power n plus m plus n from the limit 0 to 1. Are we getting that? So here we have to obtain that with the help of this second part, that is limit from 1 to infinity. So let's call for the time being this as equation number 2, and we will consider the second part of this, that is integral from 1 to infinity of x raised to power n minus 1 upon 1 plus x raised to power m plus n. And what is our aim? Our aim is to convert this in the form integral 0 to 1, and x to the power m minus 1 is required. Okay, so let's see how this can be done. So the as per the requirement, everything is fulfilled. We can change m to n according to the property of beta function, but the problem is of how to convert this limit 1 to infinity into 0 to 1, right? So accordingly we will have to take the substitution. So in what way one can change the limit 1 to infinity into 0 to 1, right? So one is as per the requirement. Only problematic thing is that is infinity and 0. So our task is to convert this infinity to 0, right? So just make use of relation between infinity and 0. Yes, so what is a relation? So relation is that they are reciprocal of each other, right? As per our general knowledge. So x is, so that's why here we will take the substitution that let x is equal to 1 by t. Okay, so as soon as when x is taken as infinity, the t will become what? 0, right? So according to the requirement, sometimes we have to take the substitution. Okay, so I hope this will serve the purpose. Let's see. So differentiate this. So derivative of this will be minus 1 by t square dt. Okay, let's find out the change in limits when x is 1, right? Obviously x is 1 by t means t is 1 by x. Okay, so when x is 1, what will be t? T will be 1. And when x tends to infinity, x tends to infinity, so 1 by infinity, t will tends to 0. So now our limit is as per requirement. We want the limit 0 to 1. Okay, so let's use this over here in this integral, equation number 3. So therefore equation 3 implies integral from 1 to infinity of x to the power n minus 1 upon 1 plus x to the power m plus n is equal to, so when the limit is 1 we have 1, and when it is infinity it is 0. X is 1 by t, accordingly we will do the substitution. So 1 by t raised to power n minus 1, then we have 1 plus 1 by t raised to power m plus n. And what is dx? Dx is minus 1 by t square dt. Now just apply law of indices and simplify. So we have integral, let us take minus here. So minus 1 to 0 will make integral with the limit 0 to 1. Okay. So now 1 upon t raised to power n minus 1. So that is 1 upon t raised to power n minus 1 according to law of indices into, I will write 1 by t square here. Okay. Now upon, now let's take the LCM. So t plus 1 by t, t plus 1 raised to power, what we have? M plus n, and by t, so that is t raised to power m plus n, right? Just simplifying, taking the LCM and applying law of indices. So in this way we have the simplification. Let's further simplify it. See, is there any cancellation or not? So the power of t is here n minus 1 plus 2, so that is n plus 2. Okay, and here also t to the power m plus n. So what we are getting here, let's check. So what we have, 1 upon t raised to power n plus 1, and then this goes in the numerator, so t raised to m plus n upon, we can write it as 1 plus t raised to power m plus n dt. Just apply simple laws of algebra, right? So this implies integral from 0 to 1, collect the powers of t. So t raised to power n will get cancelled, t power 1 is left, which we take in the numerator. So we have t raised to power m minus 1 upon 1 plus t raised to power m plus n. Now look at this term. Is it as per the requirement? Does it serve the purpose? Yes. The only thing is that here we want the variable x, right? If x would be there, So it will be exactly as per the requirement. Can we do that? Yes, because the t is a dummy variable. So as per the requirement, it can take the we can have the another variables. So it integral 0 to 1. In place of t, I will write x. So x raised to m minus 1 upon we have 1 plus x raised to power m plus n dx. Right. So here the concept which we have used is what? Replace as t is dummy variable. Okay, so we can change t by x. So this is nothing but the value of integral from 1 to infinity of x raised to n minus 1 upon 1 plus x raised to power m plus n. So let's use this in equation number 2. Put this second integral in equation number 2. So what we have? So therefore equation 2 implies beta of mn is equal to integral 0 to 1 x raised to n minus 1 upon 1 plus x raised to power m plus n, and second integral is integral from 0 to 1 of x raised to power m minus 1 upon 1 plus x raised to power m plus n. Now you can see here both have the same limits of integration. So we will combine them, integral 0 to 1. Denominator is also same. So 1 plus x raised to power, we have m plus n, and then x raised to n minus 1 plus x raised to m minus 1 dx. Right? So like this, the fourth property is proved. Okay. So this way, the all the four properties of the beta function are covered. Now let's see next is what is the relation between beta and gamma function and how this can be derived. Okay, so relation between beta and gamma function. So here, in order to prove this relationship between the beta and gamma function, we will make use of some of the properties of gamma function as well as the definition of gamma function. So what is the relation? So it says that beta of mn is equal to gamma of m into gamma of n upon gamma of m plus n. So this is the relationship between the beta and gamma function. So let's see proof. So we know the definition of gamma function. What is gamma function? So say if I want to write gamma of m, here we want gamma of m into gamma of n. So let's take gamma of m. So according to definition, it's integral from 0 to infinity. I will write e raised to power minus z raised to power m minus 1 dz. So this is what we have as per definition of gamma function. Now again, we have seen one more property of the gamma function which is used many times for solving the integral. So what is that property? The integral 0 to infinity of e power minus kx into x raised to power n minus 1, right, is nothing but equal to gamma of n upon k raised to n. So this property we have seen related to the gamma function. Now what we do here, we just replace, as you can see earlier in the gamma function, I have used the variable z. So what we will do, we will just replace k by z, right, in equation number 2. K by z in equation number 2, right? So what we get? So we get this as gamma of n upon k is replaced by z, so z raised to n is equal to integral 0 to infinity e raised to power minus kx was there, so minus this becomes zx, then x raised to power n minus 1 integration with respect to x. Now see here, the variable of integration is x, so this z raised to power n is acting as a constant. So whether we write this outside the integral or inside the integral, it's immaterial, right? So let's write this z raised to power inside the integral. So we have e raised to power minus zx, x raised to power n minus 1, then z raised to power n dx. So this step is very, very important. Now look at the requirement. We have to show that beta of mn is gamma of m into gamma of n upon gamma of m plus n. So equation 1 gives me the expression for gamma of n, whereas equation 3 gives me the expression for gamma of n, and we want the product of these two. So what we are going to do now, we will take the multiplication of equation 1 and 3. Okay, so therefore multiplying equation 1 and 3, or we can say equation 1 and 3 implies, so multiplying the left hand side as well as right hand side. So we get gamma of m into gamma of n is equal to integral 0 to infinity e raised to power minus z, what we have, e raised to power minus z, just a minute, e raised to power minus z, then um, here the exponential term is, we will write integral 0 to infinity again, e raised to power minus zx, then x raised to power n minus 1, then what we have, z raised to power n in, and in the equation number 1 we have z raised to power m minus 1. So it is z raised to power m minus 1 and then z raised to power n. We will write dz dx. Okay, now here whatever possibility for simplification is possible, that we will apply here. So what we can do, that we will apply law of indices over here, right? So here e raised to power, this becomes, now tell me, just remember one thing, that when we apply law of indices not to the exponential term and the limit is infinity, so at that time while applying the limit, law of indices, you have to take e raised to power minus of variable term outside, right? And all 1 plus x, right? Then law of indices to z, so it is z raised to power m plus n minus 1, right? So these are, here we write these terms for first z, and then the terms of x, so that is what is left is only x raised to power n minus 1 integration with respect to x. Okay, now so let's consider this inner integral, simplify it and see what further can be done, right? So consider integral 0 to infinity of e to the power minus of x plus 1 z into z raised to power m plus n minus 1 dz. Okay, now look at this. Does it satisfy some condition? So if you compare this with the equation number 2, right? So what is equation 2? Let's see quickly. So this is equation number 2. What we find here, that here I am z in the present expression, and k is nothing but the x plus 1. You can see here, right? So comparing, I'll write that statement once again. So comparing above with what, integral 0 to infinity of e power minus kx into x raised to power, I will write, in order to avoid the confusion, capital N, n is equal to upon k raised to x. So let's just compare this integral with this left hand side, right? So what you will find that we get k is nothing but what? X plus 1. Okay, k is x plus 1. Why? Because the variable of integration is z. So other than z is nothing but constant. So k is x plus 1. And what is my n? So n is nothing but m plus n. Okay, so we will just apply this, compare this with this result, we get directly the value of this one, right? So therefore, what we have, integral 0 to infinity of e raised to power minus x plus 1 times z raised to power m plus n minus 1 is equal to, capital N is my m plus n here, and what is my k is x plus 1 raised to power n, that is m plus n. Okay, this is what we have. Now we have obtained the value of inner integral. So we will put this in equation number 4. So what we get? So using this in equation 4. So using this in equation 4, we get, so gamma of m into gamma of n is equal to, what we are getting, integral 0 to infinity, right? Then this value of inner integral, that is gamma of m plus n upon x raised to x plus 1 raised to power m plus n. Okay, value of inner integral. Then what is left? X to the power n minus 1 dx, right? So x to the power n minus 1 integration with respect to x. Now see here, integration is with respect to x. So the term which is not containing x can be is treated as a constant. So it can be taken outside the summation, right? So what we will do? So we will have gamma of m, gamma of n is equal to gamma of m plus n is constant, and then we have integral 0 to infinity of x to the power n minus 1 upon 1 plus x raised to power m plus n. Okay, now take this on the left hand side. So gamma of m into gamma of n upon gamma of m plus n. Now look at the term left. So this is according to the third property of beta function. What this is? This is nothing but beta of mn. Okay, since property 3. Okay, so in this way, the relationship between the beta and gamma function is obtained. So this is a very, very important result. Okay, in order to simplify the value of integral, if we obtain it in terms of beta function, then gamma function, conversion of it into a gamma function will make it the simpler one. So I hope the property 4 of the beta function, as well as this relation between beta and gamma function, is clear to you all.